Ladies and gentlemen, workers wherever you are, located in Uganda, today in the different villages and the districts, I want to welcome you once again to this message that I am going to discuss with you in regard to the poor state of the working people in Uganda. The reason why I keep addressing you is that the poor state of the working people in Uganda have really compelled some of us to start exploring ways through which this state can really be improved. I know very well that the problems have now become so many that sometimes you may even fail to know where to start from. But whatever it is that we must do, something must be done, because it is not right for us to leave things to remain in the way they are. These contributions may look to be small, but we will not despise small beginnings. So the book says, which you and me well know, is the Bible. The Bible teaches us that we should never despise small beginnings. Even as I speak to you here, we have started talking about this matter so simply, in a very simple way, but it will eventually grow. And the efforts we are investing are not going to go in vain. I do believe and trust that at some point, we together shall be able to work and bring about change. It is not just about Wanzusi. It is not about an individual who is going to emerge from somewhere and declare that change has come. That may not be possible. Although at some stage, yes, it can happen, but in the prevailing circumstances, that may not be possible. So we will have to work together. Like I've already told you, that abuse of rights in Uganda has happened, and with a lot of ease. And sometimes these things happen that even we allow the people who are abusing our rights to determine how we should enjoy our rights. They measure how much of the rights we should enjoy and how much we should not be able to have. And for us, whom they have measured for, we also comfortably accept the little that we have been given. Much of it goes away, and we do not get anything in return. And I encourage you, all of you colleagues who are listening to me, that it's not right for the people who abuse our rights to be the ones to set standards for us. When they start set standards, they will set standards that are in their favor because they are benefiting from abuse of rights. That's why I'm talking to you every other day, encouraging you and challenging you that we together must work in such a manner that will ensure that our rights are not abused. And who tells you that for us as workers, we were born to remain workers? Workers, we work, yes, that is fine, but that's not the ultimate end. That's not the ultimate goal, that we are going to remain there working and employed forever, where we earn very small salaries that can hardly meet our basic needs. We should be able to rise up from where we are and move to levels where we are now going to become investors. And probably with our background, when we finally become investors, we shall be able to maintain better standards because we know the history, what we have gone through, how we have suffered, what we have experienced. That is not quite ideal, so that we do not do the same thing to the people whom we will eventually employ in the long run. The poor state of the working people has really made it difficult for us to fulfill our purposes in life. So much that people have dreams. They have great dreams, but those dreams will never be implemented. Because implementation of those dreams, realization of those dreams, require that you have basic resources for you to be able to implement those dreams. But now a salary which is very minimal, that can hardly enable you to meet your basic needs. How will it help you to be able to realize those dreams? The circumstances must change. And the purpose of this continued engagement is to ensure that at least the standards improve, where you can be able to rent a house with ease, you don't struggle, or even build a house for yourself. We have seen workers really struggling. They cannot even afford to rent a decent house where to live with his or her family so that they can be able to continue on in the pursuit of their dreams, fulfillment of the purposes why they do exist. We should be able to work in such a way that this state changes. We should be able to work in such a way that the workers are able to pay their medical bills. It is not a must. It has not been a must that employers must pay for your medical bills. But of course, some employers through negotiation, others through their own personal conviction, they have thought it is important to treat workers. But in the circumstances where we have majority of our working people who cannot be able to receive such treatment, the implication is that they have got to pay their own medical bills. And the people work with diseases. They cannot afford to raise money to treat themselves. These diseases eventually multiply into something else and they end up dying, others get paralyzed, others get a lot of complications. Why? Because you as workers, you do not have money to even examine yourself, to find out how medically fit you are. This state must be able to change. We should be able as workers to buy good food. These things are the things that we are struggling for. But really, if you cannot even be able to buy food for yourself, how do you expect to develop? A basic like food, a basic like housing, a basic like medical bills. If you cannot be able to get these things, how do you even dream of developing when you cannot meet these very basic needs? And we are saying, no, workers, please let us rise up. I want to propose to you ways through which we can be able to rise up and start working progressively towards making our lives better, because we were never created to remain in the way we are. It is us who have decided to put our minds in the corner to believe that this is what we are entitled to. Please let us refuse those small things. Let us work for something better. Let us have a society of dynamic people who are ready to take the risk, who are ready to move forward and do something unusual so that we can be able to change the state in which we are. Workers, we are unable to buy even good clothing. We can't buy good clothing for ourselves because the salaries are so low. You put on one shirt, one trouser, maybe one boxer from the beginning of the week up to the end. If you are lucky to have 2 or 3, there you are really doing very well. And even the thing is you buy, we are buying second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes that have been used by Europeans, they have been sent to us here. Even the underpants, people are putting on second-hand clothes because you can't afford the money. The money that you have will enable you maybe buy a second-hand underpants. You know, everything else we are buying second-hand because we do not have money to buy new clothing. Colleagues, we cannot afford to completely condemn ourselves to live this kind of life. We must be able to rise up and be able to do something new so that we can be able to change the state in which we are. And I'm going to be talking to you so many things on how we are going to be able to bring about change in this area. We cannot be able to educate ourselves because we have no money to advance our education. We cannot educate our children. We end up taking our children to certain schools that are far below standard, but because you have no money, you have no option. Even sometimes there are those ones who even fail to take children in even UPE schools, just where you are required to buy maybe some few books for your children to go and study. Because of the economic hardships, we are unable to do this. This state of affairs must be able to change. We are unable to support our parents. Our parents took care of us when we were young. We have now grown up. They think that our children are going to support us. We are unable to support our parents, even with the very basic things, like buying sugar, soap, giving them medicine. As years go by, their bodies have become weak. We can't treat them. That is very, very painful. It's very painful. We cannot condemn ourselves to this state. We must be able to take care of our parents who took care of us when we were young. These kind of things I'm speaking about them.